All right, what's going on YouTube? It's going to be Donnie coming to you from Asao, Japan. Got the, yeah, man, let's get started, man. Like, I think you're doing a grand finale entry until, like, the new year and everything, but it's the first time back in the new year here. Had a bunch of stuff going on. Actually, yesterday when I opened up for business, there was a Japanese holiday, so nothing, I mean, it was a bad day to open up for business and everything. But anyway, to my right here, I got a new shop assistant. This is Anthony. He'll introduce yourself in a second here. And I did say that correct, Anthony. Right? Yeah. So like different people got different ways to say names. So anyway, you guys know like about 3 or 4 podcasts ago, I had Quan on. He was doing this farewell, and Anthony actually came here like around about, it was summertime, it was still hot out, and everything. So he got here like summertime and everything. We chopped it up, and like I think the second time we met, he asked about it, and I was like, yeah, I had Quan here still, and I actually tried a Japanese Scout, and that didn't work out. And, you know, my thing is, you guys know I operate alone and everything. And even with the business put up front, he's not like a paid staff. So guys are there, please don't send me your resumes. It's cool. I got about 4 resumes last week, and they look pretty good. But I'm not the shop for that. You know, I'm not hiring foreigners and stuff in Japan is a very expensive thing to do it legally. And for me to grow where I want to go with this business, everything is going to be done on up and up because being a gaijin, once I start making a major noise as far as money, I'll have a lot of guys trying to, you know, send tax advisors to me. Not tax advisors, but tax adjustment, IRS people. People get shady here and they want to make money. So Japan, while it seems nice, there's cutthroat people here as well. I don't mind it because that's how Americans are anyway. So, hey, we can do it. We can have a competition, and I guarantee you I'll win. So, yeah, because they got to try to be deviant and shit, like, you know what I mean? Americans, not that we're like that, but it's like we can do it and everything. But anyway, that's just an introduction to what's going to happen this year. A lot more stuff's going to go on. Podcast's going to flow, so I'm not going to do any major announcements. So let's get right into it. So again, Anthony, man, just introduce yourself, man, and we'll get into it, man. Where you from and age and all that stuff, man.
Ohio. I'm Anthony. I'm from Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
That's where I was born and raised. So I've been, let's see, I'm 35 and then
37, 38, something like that.
Well, actually,
yeah,
I'm about to be 35.
Yeah,
March.
okay.
I've been losing track.
Yeah,
like
yeah. Honestly,
track,
yeah. He's like,
honestly.
actually, I was like, do you what? How fucking hell? Like 30? I think I'm 37. Yeah, I'm 37 for
right?
Sure. Yeah.
Like every time somebody like, how old? I'm like,
yeah,
86?
yeah.
It's the same thing with my kids. Like I be forgetting like how old my kids are. They're like, how old is your daughter? I'm like 12, 13.
Yeah. You know, the kids, I think you got it like up until they're 18, everything you got to know and everything, man. So, I mean, Portland, Oregon, 35, about to turn 35 and everything. What because I, you know, initially, man, what got you in the cars and everything? We talked a little bit offline about it, but what got you in the cars and like the life of all that stuff, man? Because I mean, this podcast is not only car shit. You know what I mean? You watching any episodes before or you seen a couple?
I watched a couple episodes. I was watching the, when you were talking with, what's his name? From Mishimoto or not Mishimoto.
Eric
Bridgemoto.
Alan. Yeah, Alan.
Like forgetting stuff. Yeah. When you guys are talking about which cars are winning which races.
Yeah.
I was like, no, they all pick the same one.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
It's like most guys agree with that. I'm gonna do like a little I'm gonna do like some like kind of giveaways and shit. As people like giveaways and free shit. Yeah. So I'll probably like, you know, if you guys pick like we'll put it out there. Like a week prior or a couple days prior, and if they pick the things, we'll send them some stuff and everything, man. So, but yeah, man. So like again, getting in the cars and everything. What happened with that?
Like my dad was always working on cars, and then, I should say, so my real dad was always working on cars, and then like he was out of the picture for forever now.
Let's bring the mic up a little bit.
Typical story of people I know's life, but so. And then I was just like, I don't know, Gran Turismo. So Gran Turismo, the original, like 97.
Yeah, 97, yeah.
Yeah, that's what started me on my car,
my
whole car spiel. And then after that, I went to school. So my high school was like a tech school.
Oh, so vocational? Like, well, we call it, And I went to the same thing. We call it it's like vocational. So like my trade was computer repair, electronics.
Yeah.
So what did you do for your trade?
I did a couple things because so we had like wood shop and because like so it was Benson Polytechnic over in Portland, Oregon. Yeah. And like so they would like build like wood shop would build a house for the final, and then like the school sells it off or whatnot. But they actually have somebody go put the electrical in there.
Okay.
But the students build it. But I took that and I was like, oh, this is fine. But come like June or sophomore year, I ended up swapping to automotive. And then I took automotive class, and then we were like rebuild engines, and we had to get them to run. They had to run after we tear it all apart. Easy, V8s are simple.
yeah. Definitely easy to learn on.
And then after that, I don't know, I just ended up getting an internship out of high school, working at an auto shop. And then from there, I worked for a couple years, like about a year after high school, and then I ended up joining the military.
Okay.
But in between all that, I was out, like, my buddy bought an RX-7 and an Evo 8. What was it? Evo.
In the Southern America, 7 was the not Evo 8. Evo 8 was the first. Yeah.
So he had an FD and an Evo 8, but we'd always be working on his FD because rotary.
Yeah, and we'll get into that's what your primary sports car here. That's the rotary. So when was the first time you drove an RX-7 or?
The first time I drove an RX-7 was in 2002. It was at 93.
Here?
Not here. Okay. Stateside.
Okay. Yeah, they got that's the like one of the, I mean, you've been an rotary owner, man. I'm pretty sure you get it like, crap from. I mean, most of it is like people joking. Yeah. And the other half is just people who just they don't know. They think like they just jump on a meme bandwagon and shit and like say stupid shit. Like I actually know how they actually internally work, and like I mean I'll throw a jab at some guys sometimes, but I mean I know like they're one of those things where like unfortunately it's one of those engines where it doesn't matter how like if you race it you're gonna have to tear it down and it doesn't matter like it does. It's like the fucking the 787B 4-rotor whatever that thing, after they do that thing they got like spares and they tearing it down, they replacing shit. So I tell the customers, man, and guys, like it's one of those cars where it's like it's you don't if you get into it by mistake, then generally most guys are gonna sell it. But it's kind of like the Z32, the Mitsubishi 3000 GT, like those cars, you generally want them.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, they're. I mean, they all make me good money on labor because everything takes fucking forever to do. But it's like I'm like, dude, that ain't a Honda Civic, dude. Like, nope. That's like it's like those box like these. So I was working when I was working at the auto shop. Yeah. I never forget because this is why I still just Subarus. I'm good. Oh yeah. Because we had a Subaru come in, and I was like killing me because it was like it had I can't remember what the exact issue was, but I ended up having to like get to it, like pull the heads off or whatnot. Yeah. And do some like internal stuff. And you pull the heads off inside the bay? Nah. I had to take the engine out. And I was like, dude, man, this is crazy. Yeah. What is wrong with it? But that was my first time ever messing with like a boxer motor. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm not doing this again. Yeah. The one thing is just like they have their quirks, man. But the biggest thing, I'm like, dude, Subaru, they design like a lot of shit. Like for example, look at WX, they actually have like the mounts for like the braces, like they know like you're gonna use braces and stuff like that. But they didn't. I'm like, dude, why they didn't like think about maybe putting a hole in a subframe where you can like stick a fucking extending screwdriver in to get to the spark plugs. Yeah, so you can get there. Yeah, because I'm like, because the ones I designed, like I cut a part of it and welded it that way I can get my hand on there and get like a fucking wrench in there. Right. To get it out. I'm like, dude, they got all this shit. I'm like, dude, all they do is they drill 2 holes. They put like some kind of flap in there. The way you just take a long extension, you stick it straight fucking in the thing. But then they probably figure, well, what if they change the mounts, they lower it, they raise it or whatever, then it'll be off. But I built the one out there because guys were saying like I didn't do Subarus. Yeah. So I was like, all right, cool. Well, I'll get one, and I built the car, and like within a couple months it was in a magazine. Not even it was a month. It was in a magazine, and I was like, all right, so now what? And but in that 2 weeks of working on it, like I'm like, there's nothing really to it, and I I get acclimated to cars pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's just tedious. It's not hard. It's just tedious.
The one thing I fucking hate, dude, and I will say the stupidest design is that their rear suspension is like Subarus. They rush, man. Like they're pretty bad.
Yeah,
they're really bad. The front lower ball joints. I had one of the bolt snap on there. The rear has this long fucking pass-through bolt that passed all the way through the rear tow rods and everything. It passes all the way through, so it's about this long, and it's an open window. So like when an open window, it just gets rust and shit. So almost always I'm like, dude.
Imagine out here too. It's just bad.
It's not only here. It's just I don't know what they did, and then the rear soft frames is just I don't. They're fun, but that alone right there, that just turns me off to them.
I'm good.
Yeah, as far as like even newer ones, it's not older. It's the newer ones.
Still great.
So it's like well, actually I wouldn't say. I'm talking about newer, like in my range, like the GDB direct, the one all the directions run around base. The newer shit, I never worked on those, so I don't know if they changed it. But the yeah, man, it's like, so. I mean, as far as like, so what's all the cars like you've owned? I mean, because I'm trying to get an idea for since you're going to be helping out here, man. What's the cars you worked on personally?
So I had a let's see when I got to Travis, which was my first base.
Okay.
I ended up getting a FC, and like me and my buddy both got FCs, and like just beat the dog shit out of them. But and that was like a drift car.
NA or turbo?
We drift. It was NA. Yeah. So it ended up like welding the diff and then like just throwing that around, and ended up selling it to a kid, and he literally wrecked it. Probably he drove from base to Lake Berryessa because that's where we would go for all the twisties.
What color was
it?
It?
Wrecked it like immediately.
What color was it?
It was black.
You motherfucker! I was gonna say it was whitey motherfucker. I think he's white coming off Initial D,
right?
And like, cause
that's what he came in and went, man.
Yeah, Initial D wrecked a lot of fucking cars, man. Like mine, I would. Yeah, I got my S13. Like that's what. Like I mean, same thing with you, man. Gran Turismo was like that was like my spark.
Yeah.
And then that also got me into it. And then right after that, I think it was 97. So 98, 99. So about 2.5 years later, so when I met my first like car guys, and that was like around this was 99.
Yeah.
So that's where, and then fucking Fast and Furious came out.
It's about the same.
So it's it's like that movie is much. I mean, people give it the new ones I kind of don't really care for.
Right.
1 through 4 is like okay, then after that they just start jumping through buildings and shit. I'm like, all right, dude.
Be in space next.
Like I didn't even see the one in Europe. Like so I missed the whole. I still didn't watch it. The one where the airplane mission one.
Yeah, it was kind of ridiculous.
Where like kind of Statham brother, I guess, shot or whatever or something like that. So I still haven't watched that one. Yeah, because it was like something. It seemed like that one went straight to DVD.
Yeah, you just gotta watch them. Yeah. Like.
Yeah.
Just at this point, you just watch.
Yeah, it's just like because you're part of it.
It's
just. I mean, you watch crazy shit anyway. So, but yeah, it's like it's that started it, man. Then I got my guys, and this is dude. For me, I hate the word luck. I just kind of believe in kind of shit. I mean, the timing and places and everything that should kind of work out. And like if you're ready to perform. So I met a group of guys, and they were actually older, and They all had like Civics and shit like that. But the one thing I noticed is one they didn't have the money for like to work on their shit, and 2 they were kind of scared. So I came from computers, so I was already taking shit apart and doing that. Then that got these car and electronics. So they were like, oh man, like this harness is this much. I'm like, you're gonna buy the harness for that much at that time? So I was like, dude, I do electronics and shit like that. So I was like, I went online back when this was in the library and shit.
Yeah. Yep.
So I went there and found it. I found like some rough schematics or whatever. Honda, like it was like Super Honda was just popping off. It was. They had like they had all the little subgroups for every car in there.
Yeah,
so you can find all the shit there, and then the guys would have stuff written in there. So I found some pinouts and everything. And back then again, the shit people were just like guessing. So like my first swap, it took us after I did the main swap. It took us almost about 3 weeks to get it running. Well, about 2 weeks to get it running, and 3 weeks to get it running properly. What happened was it was 2 fucking pins were like they were out of order. So you start the car up, it would start up, but it would run hot. They would just so the timing was fucking way advanced.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as you start it up, like about 1 minute, the manifolds will start glowing red hot and everything. So that was like, I mean, then it was, then I went on there and I'm like, dude, this pin got to go here. You swap that shit out, and it was just like, it was
always let
yeah.
you remember.
This is when I first started, man. So like my first start to everything was like my very first swap was a swap with wiring on it. So
Yeah.
that's kind of why I got like, I'm big into swaps. Because like, guys here don't do it. So I mean, you've seen most of the stuff. You'll see more stuff and everything, man. So, but as far as like your because I mean, it's kind of like we were talking, getting to know each other, man. As far as the like the mechanical ability and stuff like that, what's the like the extent of like what's stuff you've done, like the furthest you've gone?
Let's see. So I was like real big after the FC. I ended up getting a 240 coupe, and then that was a single overhead cam.
Okay.
Welded diff.
Yeah.
And I ended up swapping that motor out and putting SR20 in it.
Okay.
And then after drifting that,
how much did you pay for that SR20 about it? It's curious.
This was back
then. Yeah, that's
yeah. I actually got it for way less than what they were going for because I bought it off a buddy of mine, but I still paid like almost close to $3,000 for it.
Yeah,
because I think they were going like for like 4,500 ish.
For you got a the S13 or red top, black top?
It was a red top.
Okay.
I swapped that, and I went and drifted that several times, but that only lasted me like 6 months before I blew the rings out on it. I like washed the rings out on it. I was on the highway going home from like Sacramento.
Yeah,
and it was just
because the thing about those shit's already fucking like, that's the one thing, man. I didn't think too. It's like when people get it, like I heard the thing about then it's kind of true, kind of bullshit about Japanese and attacks, because like there's they kind of do that, but I found out it's not 100% true. So like so I thought all the engines were being like, nobody's really, they just wreck the cars and they sell them
at the track. They smash it and then like yank it.
And it was export. The export game was back then. I mean, now that I do it. I mean, so it's crazy. I know all the ins and outs and what it is, and that market is just dried up. So that now, like I was telling dudes, like there's more SRs and shit outside of Japan than there is here now.
Yeah,
like they're just
pretty easy to find.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Inside of Japan though, I mean, you put like you go to actually 13B, you put the REW in there, 13B REW, FD3S, you get 6 results. Whole Japan, the whole, and that's it.
Yep.
Like,
well, yeah, because it was. I'll get to that.
No,
the REW thing in a sec. So I ended up swapping that. So I parked it at my in-laws for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And then came to Yokota. And I got stationed there, and I ended up with a GTR. And then, obviously, I had to switch wire it up to the front, so you jump the switch. Yeah, so I had that whole thing on there, and I was sliding that one around, and then I ended up selling that. So I bought my GTR, R32 GTR.
How much?
For $4,500.
45.
Yeah, and I sold it when I left for $2,500.
No shit.
Clean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll show you some pictures.
Yeah, $4,500, man.
Yeah,
like that.
$4,500.
I remember when I got here in 08, man. Like you was seeing GTRs for 8 or 9. 8 or 9 would get you one that needs a little work.
Yeah.
And then 10 or 12 would get you like almost pristine.
Yep.
And then like, I mean, if you're in the 18s, you're getting some shit that already got like a 2.8 liter or like work done. But now like that same shit on a scale, we put them next to each other, like they're just it's just, that shit's crazy, man. And like I said, you been here. And like that's one, I'm pretty sure you're like me, man. When you go online and you see people and you're like here, and you're like kind of jaded, like they don't really don't know the deal about stuff, the cost, how much stuff used to cost, and the reason why like is like I wouldn't pay that much for a fucking like, not it. I mean, you already driven the car. The GTRs are cool, but I was telling dudes too when I'm gonna build one here, because a lot of there's like maybe 1 or 2 decently spec GTRs here, and then of course the one in my garage right now getting built. A lot of people don't have an idea of a real GTR, what it really can do.
Yeah,
like what it really can do.
Yeah, when they get work done, it's crazy.
Yeah, so and the standard one is the stock turbos, and
that's the thing, man. Like,
yeah.
I
mean they're quick, but at the same time that is relative to what you've been in before.
Yeah, well, like because I don't know. Because 08 is because that's when I did that first tour at Yokota. So it's like
so
once
same
you,
time.
once you, there's no way. I don't know, just for me personally, that I could come. Because when I got back, they were like, "You can get another GTR," and I was like, "Nah, bro."
Yeah.
They're like 19. They were like 19 minimum $19,000 or something, and I was like, "Nah, that ain't happening." But then FCs, FDs, R32 GTRs, S13s, S15s. They were all like five. You could get any of those for like $5,000.
I just got the blue one. I don't know if you see the video. That was like 28.
Yeah,
that one it was a clean car. But I mean, honestly, I was 28. I could do a lot with 28, a lot, and have money left over, and a lot more power. A lot it was. But I mean, that's what he wanted. I was like, hey man, that's. But I mean, at the same time, it's the market. I don't think he's gonna sell a car, maybe, but yeah, man, it's everything's going up. And the thing about it is just like they're getting scarce. A lot of the cars, unfortunately, it don't seem like. I mean, when you see a S13 crash, it's a car crash, but every time it's one totaled, I mean, I'm talking about completely totaled. Normally, if it's from the side, because from the front, now a total is like not really because everybody's cut. They don't tube shit. So I mean, honestly, if the rails are fucked, I mean, well, within the rules, like if it's behind the subframe, then yeah, it's fucked. Yeah. But if it's like in front of the subframe and it's still true, they just chop that off and do what you got to do and everything. So, but so wrecked in our world is different. That Subaru I got out there, that's wrecked to most people. But I'm gonna go to the junkyard, pull a core, and drill that shit out. And I'm not gonna sell it. Yeah. But I mean, I could fix it, and I'll be. I'm going out there actually. Just I know you see me post Friday night if I got time. If I got time, I'm gonna fix it. If I don't, I'm just gonna run just like that. I'm just gonna put headlights in it and fuck it.
Yeah, it looks straight still.
Yeah. I mean, it's just she hit a tree. She hit like a pole. So it's that black one up there. Yeah. So there's a blue one at Tommy's right now. It's just I don't really want to spend the money on the parts right now, so I might pull them and then come put them on layaway and then come pick it back up. So yeah, man, that's people don't like, man, you got them like, dude, nah, it's being disciplined and then like shit like that is just something to have fun. Yeah, I'll just weld a diff to get to make it more like rear, so I can actually drift it, man, and everything. So
experiences with welded discs, mine. I ended up blowing that. So before I went,
what power did you weld it with though? How much power? The welder, was it like a flux welder or?
I don't remember. I can't remember because I just had like barely.
Did you do it or somebody? Experience.
I didn't do it.
Okay.
One of my buddies did it, and he did it with the stick.
Oh
this guy just jammed a bunch of stuff in the spider gears. Yeah. I was like, but of course it's just like
it's a stick welder.
Nobody got no money. But I got a little A1C, and I was like, just whatever. Yeah. So I was on the highway, just getting in. I was reckless. Yeah. But and it snapped, and then obviously you go from welded to open, and I just immediately went off into the grass on the highway. But I put another one once I got back to the States. Put another SR20 in there, and it ended up lasting me about a year because I took that drifting to several things in Arkansas. It wasn't really that big in Arkansas. It started blowing up. Now there's like a scene out there.
Okay.
But I ended up having to I ended up putting like new valve seals in there. I had to pull the turbo out, rebuild that because it was a bunch of play and it was leaking. I was getting oil in the downpipe.
Did they have like an estimate, like miles on it, or they read it on the valve cover? Because that's the thing, man. Like you don't know what you're getting. Yeah, that's one thing. Like it's funny about the rotaries, man. It was I don't know if everybody noticed they almost always sell around 62 to 75 to 80 because that's around about the point where if it was beat on, it's fucking hurting. The engine already is hurting. So like everybody will be like, oh, I got this low mileage RX-7. I was like, did you get a compression test by actual rotary compression tester? And I'm like, yeah, dude, do that shit, man, because that's the first thing I do. Like, because all the other shit is like generally is all generally good. Yeah. Outside of the rat's nest and all the fucking solenoids there, and if you got the sequential and the non-sequential and all that stuff like that, and then like I tell dudes, I'm like, dude, the money and the time to invest into like converting it is like you could just go single. Yep. Because you just get rid of all that. I'm like, when I first took one apart, I'm like, dude, okay, when I'm like, all right, I took the turbo off, and I took this plate off, then I took this off. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, it's just all this shit, like layer, gasket, and then bolt, and all this stuff. And that's you got a single turn. And RX-7 manifolds aftermarket single is like some of the simplest shit. It's just two fucking pipes, and it goes like this, and you bolt it on.
Yeah, it's simple.
You get rid of all that shit, man. So I'm a big proponent of getting rid of all twin setups and all cars because back then when they were made, there was no. Also size is a big thing. It costs more.
Yeah, but
they didn't have these GT 3582 dual ball bearing billet wheel turbos back then. That's spool fucking quick.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah, like so now, I mean, and it's affordable. So I was telling the one guy outside, I saved him about $4,500. He's wanting to do like this 20 HQS setup. And I was like, yeah, I can get it for you, but like that's going to be $2,800 each.
Yeah.
Like before labor parts and everything. So I was like, I can do a single manifold, everything for this much. I gave him a number, I gave him a deal on it, and he was like, holy shit, yeah, let's do that. And then like he was a pilot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, and then you get rid of all that twin shit. Maintenance is 4 bolts. You can put the manifold on one wrench. You don't need, from the top. You don't need to do anything crazy, anything angles and long extensions. It's just maintenance wise, and also getting rid of like liabilities because you got the front turbo is working and the rear turbo ain't working.
Yep.
Or vice versa. So that's my thing. We talked a little bit before and everything, but like actually being in the shop, man, it's just like everybody's I'm firm in my theories. I got good results of mine. And then I go to the track and I beat out other companies, with a lot less money. Right. And it's because we're buying shit from Australia, New Zealand, America, and they're just buying from fucking Yamaha or Magic.
Right.
Like they're just I'm like, bro, there's more shit out there. Unless you want, not knocking it. Unless you want to have that, it's cool. But I can get the same part for $350, and you're paying $850.
Yeah, and at that point, it's not even like a quality thing. You're actually, it's like a name thing. Yeah. RE stuff is nice, but it just costs.
Yeah, props,
much.
Man. I hope to be in
the
future that level where now because I dropped the part. I made my first part, which is silicone hose setup for a Tesla. It was like something because at the time it was disc. So my thing was going towards discontinue shit. So I was like, well, I can't find shit anywhere, so let me fucking make it. So I made them. I sold 2 sets. I got a whole box of them. So now what I'm about to do now is just box them up and send them out to fucking like Top Secret. And even though I don't have nothing against Top Secret, I kind of bring them up a bunch.
Yeah,
I don't have. They're not my. I've been right by it. I didn't feel the urge to stop in there because I kind of could. They had already signed their appointment only.
Yeah,
and I was like, I don't. I know how it is when you're trying to work and people just kind of come in.
Just come through.
But I found a shop across the street from them called Teps. Right, Top Secret is here. Teps is here. Literally, you can throw a football halfway to the one shop to the other shop. And Teps, like he does the same Nissan shit, but it's cooler. Like the dude the environment is cooler. Not that he's trying to make that kind of environment, but it's just like they kind of have this like they're angled towards doctors and lawyers and shit who are in the cars.
Right.
I'm like, even when I can do the same shit you guys are doing, it's just it's just not hating on them. It's just not something I want.
No, yeah, it's like because just some people just I don't know. They come from humble beginnings and keep that mentality. Yeah. But it's like, because I've gone into Top Secret.
Oh, you've been there before?
Yeah, they haven't look at something which was outrageous.
Yeah,
and I was like, I'm good.
So so you've been there. So
what
was the because I've only heard. I got reservations here, but my reservations are based on like the amount. So like we get an engine build, that's the highest because they're like $450 a reservation, and it goes back into because that's the amount of money. So if it's like a check, it's like $20. I got to do that to hold people on. So did you have to do a reservation, or you just kind of appointment, or how did it work?
I don't know. So it was so this was back in like 08.
Yeah, well, still
not 08. So like 2010 or something.
Well, still would have been. They've been fully established by 2010.
Yeah, but like they were pretty. Like for the most part, they were pretty chill.
Right.
It's just that because I just asked a question and I was in there because they have that front little portion of the shop.
Okay. I never been there
because it was like go down 16.
Yeah. I know where the. Yeah. I know. I've driven by it.
I went in there, but I was like asking them. And
so I mean, it was just
I had like a slight knock, and it ended up being like, so it was about like, they didn't have a reservation because they didn't say anything. As a matter of fact, I don't even think we got that far. Okay. Because he was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be. He kind of said it was probably like a rod or something, or like a spring, but he was like, just right out the gate, it was like $2,000 or something like that. And I was like,
that's what he said.
Fix, or is this like you tearing into it and looking at it? And he was like, it's pretty much like them inspecting, and figuring. I was like, I'm good. I'll just go do it myself at the shop.
So you said 2,000, and that's why when I told motherfuckers my inspection for my performance inspection to run through everything and do all the stuff I got to do, rotaries is hard because the shit's on the side and I got to do all that. I got the rotary compression tester from Rotary Compression Tester, which made life much easier, so I could sit in the car and fucking and do my thing. But you still got to do that. So rotaries and Subarus are more expensive than a RB25 with a front facing versus RB25 with the old, because you got to take the fucking thing off and all that shit. So it varies, but at the max, it ranges between 198 to about 320, whatever. That's what I mean. It was, it depends. Yeah. But so I was like, man, I felt at one point like, that is that too much? Are you telling me $2,000?
Yeah.
To fucking
to like just
take off the cover. So I mean,
hey man, but the cover off, the covers off, and look at it.
The reason why, and again, that's what I'm telling guys now with my shit. It's like I charge what I charge because I know what it costs at these other shops. I've never been there. I've heard stories, and they're pretty valid. These guys are not gonna be lying. And so I'm like, dude, look, I tell guys straight up, like, if you look at my quote and you feel like it's too high, please take it somewhere else.
Right.
And then I had my other partner who looked at, he was like, too Yasu. I'm like, dude, but you've been open 15 years. You got well over $1 million in the bank, well over. He's a pretty generous guy. He doesn't really boast about his shit, but you got well over $1 million in the bank. If I run my prices up to where yours is, I would never get.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Especially being 5 years, even though I do good work. Yeah, so even though I do good work, it's just, I mean, I've done well over 100 customers and different stuff or whatever. It's just different. Like, so Ariana Mia and Top Secret are like in a prestige MCR. They're in that level of,
it's that baller range.
They've been in multiple magazines, multiple videos, people just, and it's starting to happen here now where, like, I mean, I'm booked to March, and then already March is getting stuff in. But when I get to that point of, like, I can really honestly not fucking work on a car for a year and be good. Yeah. I'm gonna run it up, because it's like, if you're gonna get shit done, I mean, I know who I'm working with. I got prime military and shit. So I'm talking about, honestly, what I'm gonna do is, no Japanese are pretty much watching this. Japanese, if they start coming, I'm running up on them.
Right.
Because
but everywhere else is like, why not? You
and they do it to us too.
Around everywhere. Yeah.
And they do it to us too. So you go get a house, government, it's fucking 28. If you get that same house, Japanese is 600 a month.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it's like they running up on us, you know what I'm saying? So, and I don't feel bad about it. And that's what I mean. They would have a problem with doing that if they knew about it. If they knew that wasn't the cost of everything. So, but again, Top Secret shops like that, their clientele are, again, doctors, lawyers, fucking pro athletes and shit like that, who they're like, all right, do this and this, and I'll come pick it up or whatever. They don't even ask how much it costs. They just get the bill. So if I can get clients like that, then I mean it'll vary. Not saying I'm going to limit their work, but at the same time, if a guy even in the first 5 minutes, if somebody mentions a budget, I kind of already tune out, because it's like, dude, you want to do this and all, you got all these glamorous ideas, and you want to fucking have a 3-rotor fucking 2-step with fire coming out and all this other stuff. Number one, it's not going to pass JCI. So I say that first. I'm like, are you JCI in this or not? Because you gotta keep that pump in there. You gotta make sure the pump can be installed with that manifold and stuff like that. And so I do performance, but I have to also keep in mind, if it's a street car, if it's off track, we could do anything. Like, I mean, literally anything. The cappuccino that's not getting
it doesn't matter.
I'm gonna do a video. I'm gonna take it down there. Yeah. I'm gonna take it down there, and then I'm gonna put cameras and shit, and just to get It's like, so not Dajibu that shit.
Yeah, they're gonna be like,
so I'm gonna have
probably immediately hit you with that. Yeah, guys in there.
I'm I'm just gonna act like I don't fucking know. Like, it's cool, right? And like, I can just imagine the fucking crowd. Somebody put some glasses on. They got the little camera in it, that way I can get there. because you can't have a camera ship. So I'll
like
embed some cameras. I'll probably get whatever. I don't give a fuck. It's good. It's views. But yeah, man. So they got you got that stuff and so I mean it's just it's a lot of you'll learn a lot more. Not like my style, my process. Again, man, a lot of times with a lot of stuff in the car stuff. Again, like you said, you'll pick up some of the stuff I'm doing and everything because you'll just be around it and if you see it, you'll do that. My thing is just there's a lot of people. There's some modifications you can do to things and the process, but the case in point, doing a clutch job is a clutch job. There's a right way, there's a dangerous way, and there's a completely wrong way.
Yeah. And
for here, man, again, for me to be a single guy running the operation and everything, I can't afford to be going backwards. Because even if you do everything 100% correct, you know these cars, once you start putting mounts on it, and I give the guys this briefing, like once you upgrade and stiffen and shit, now you're changing the dynamics.
Yeah.
Shit's gonna rattle and everything. So I cover like anything I touch. And I have had, because I drop them a little bit, but when the guy goes to Hirosaki and comes back, that's more than what I'm doing. So one guy had, for example, a hose clamp came loose. Like it was on there, but it just kind of, this vibration and shit.
Yeah.
So he was like, I'm like, dude, just bring it in. And he was like, but it's under the manifold. I was like, just bring it in. So he was shocked when I took this long screwdriver and I was able to, I didn't have to take anything apart.
Tighten it up.
So I was like, well, I installed it. I know if I install it with the fucking, when people do it and I hate it.
Do it so you can get to it.
Yeah.
You got to think like.
So like you got the fucking hose on the back of the engine and you put the fucking clamp on with the fucking thing facing the firewall.
Right.
Like dude, like
luck.
all you got to do is turn it like this way. Now you can go like this or from the bottom. There's always an angle, in my opinion.
Yeah, so like
to get to
same
it.
thing with putting stuff back together.
And that's why the factories use those stupid spring clamps because you get spring clamps. You can just kind of. I hate those things. I don't reuse spring clamps. You kind of go under there and like squeeze it, take it off, and everything. So it's this shit like that, man. It's like when I get a car and I'm like, dude. And even with the quoting, I quote for a little bit of. Generally, it almost always is like right at where I got to charge a little bit more. If they got some shit I really want to expect, like a welded. I had a welded cat. Like, dude, like it was leaking, and I thought it was just like dirt, and they welded the fucking they welded the exhaust together on the bottom and shit. Cause like it had the shit where like it separates.
Splatter, like it looked like a little splatter.
Yeah. So I was like chipping. I was cleaning it, and I'm like, this motherfucking welded it thing, because it was, how the exhaust got if they bend, it kind of bends out that way.
Yeah.
Like so that the flange was not like it wasn't.
So it was.
It wasn't straight. So they fucking welded to I guess past JCI. So I'm like, dude, you could just took fucking gun gum and pushed it in there, and you would have been good. So it's like I don't do too much shit like that because JCI stuff is whatever it is. Case in point with yours, we had the thing with yours with the oil pan leak. You still got to get that fixed, right?
No, I fixed it. Yeah, I took it to the auto hobby shop.
Yeah. So how did you pull a subframe down or?
The dude on base, AJ. I don't know if you know AJ.
Yeah, I know AJ.
Yeah, so I came over and like helped out, and we put he's got a engine.
Yeah, hold the engine up.
Yeah, so we put that on there, just lifted it up, and then pull the oil pan off and put
Yeah, for that when I do that, I dropped it because did you do the?
Well, yeah, we did have to undo the subframe and just like yank it down.
Yank it down. Did you do the standard one? Or did you do the Pineapple Racing the studs? Did you do that one or the power brace?
Just did I just put these.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Black on it. Yeah.
The stud. That shit I've done two of those. They definitely fucking because they just that clamping force is a lot more fucking lot more better because instead of being pushed up, it's pulling the pan.
Right.
So like it's a little time consuming because you gotta put studs in each one of the things, and also in the back left you gotta drill one of them and like make it like a little bit deeper and then screw that in and everything. So some people are skittish about that. They don't want to drill into the damn iron, but it's not. It says just drill as much and then you tap it and it goes in there. So I did the it was a Racing Beat, the Mazda page. It's a Mazda. They only do like RX-7s and Miatas. It's called Racing Beat.
It's Racing Beat.
Racing Beat. So Racing Beat, pretty much it's like Racing Beat, Pineapple Racing, Atkins. Yep. We were saying yesterday it's like 5.
Yeah, like 5 whole companies.
So everybody in the world is going to these 5 fucking companies, which is cool. And they just, like I say, running up. But the thing is, the thing about it I like about those is the stuff is like affordable though.
Yeah,
it's not like
out of control pricing.
Yeah. And
like just some stuff is kind of pricey,
no
but
doubt.
I mean, you can't if they're the only ones making it. It's like
I'm looking at doing a little bit of development for it because there's not too much here. Talking to a guy about some intake stuff and everything, so we'll see how that goes. It's just the market is going to dictate, and with Japan, man, like I'm pretty much making stuff to push it to the guys here, and because the Japanese, man, like I'm like over the they'll like I'll think about it or whatever or do whatever, right. Man. They won't tell you straight now. I don't want to run inferior stuff. I'm like, dude, do you realize 90% of your shit that you got comes from China?
Right.
And they don't believe it. They just like, oh no, this D-Max is from this under the bridge in Tokyo. Like, nah, it's not. It's from the Philippines, Taiwan.
It's like because when we're talking the other day, the like a Greddy manifold.
Yeah.
So like I'm pretty sure that like in Juku, the manifolds that they were selling from that is the exact same manifold.
All these guys, man. I don't. If you guys out there watching and you want to comment and defend your stuff, like. That's the one thing about me, man. I'm gonna keep it 100% real. Like you can pretty much buy like whatever the fuck you want. There is imitation shit out there. You got to be careful of it, of course. But generally, if a company like a good company is gonna stamp it, they've already tested it. Because they don't want to fucking buy 500 units and then like they generally most companies are gonna test. They're gonna go and test it. They deem it good. Because I mean, honestly, you could take a no shit. You could take a fire extinguisher because people do it back in the day. That's why a lot of guys got the manifolds, the oval shape. Take a fire extinguisher, cut the top off of it, weld that shut, cut a fucking witch comb, and then now you got a big ass surge tank.
Right.
That's a perfect already that shape already. So you just leave your stock runners, you run all that shit there. So people have done shit like that for years and everything. So like the new technology, the new welding, new metal, it's easy to make shit. And I'm like, bro. I'm like, all right, you can buy that or you can buy this, and I put it out there and then they can take it. I'm gonna get the money anyway from labor.
Right.
It's just, I'm like sometimes the fittings are a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be like something that's like off just slightly or like the same. Because
but I mean, for all those though, the new ones though, I was talking back in the early, like the old school Freddy manifold. Yeah. Those are hit or miss.
Yeah, because of casting.
Yeah,
like because they bought the molds from Greddy, and then I guess they would just stamp them.
Yeah, it's the same shit.
But like it was the casting on the inside, so you had to like sandblast or like kind of grind out the.
Mine was a CX beads. Racing, and that was good. But I've seen some other ones where like they got the shit ports don't match up. Or like the bolts are misdrilled, or it's just like
off.
Yeah, so they got the guys are there again watching, listening, and everything. There's knockoff stuff that's good quality, and then there's the copy of the knockoff, which you don't want to buy a copy of a copy of a copy.
Yeah.
So like when you got the ones that are like $50, like dude, nah, that's you got to spend at least $300.
Yep.
$400, and then you got some good stuff, man. So I'm not promoting or pushing crap.
Yeah, it's just it's like it's like we were saying, like so like the hood that I want to get for my RX-7 because I'm not doing anything fancy until like 2024 because I need JCI. I just don't want to deal with it. So come 2024 or 2022 will be like my last JCI on the 7 before I leave.
Yeah.
So it's like the hood though is a copy of like Ari's hood, and that's $700.
Yeah.
Or I can pay $2,500.
Yeah,
for RE, and I'm like, I'm not doing that, and it's carbon fiber also. But
I think it just depends.
Right now, I'm just getting the outside dolled up or whatnot. Yeah. But I mean, I drive it at the track and stuff.
Yeah, it's just the thing about it, man. It's like if you, some people they were just like, it's just a different thing. Like I was telling you yesterday, I don't do cars and coffee, not because I'm above it or whatever. It's just that's a different. I don't knock it. I've done the thing is before cars and coffee was cars and coffee. Yeah. Because that term kind of came out. I think everywhere now. I think it was a Cali thing first, and then they kind of it's like what car we're gonna drink coffee.
That's
like,
what I thought.
This was like 2000. I just started hearing that word term cars and coffee until like 2012 personally. Yeah, 2012.
I think it was like
then it just kind of it just went everywhere and everybody started. So I think it started out in the prissy areas of California because I know those guys obviously got good weather And then I always heard about the meets out there would be Lamborghinis and whatever, and you had to have a nice car to attend.
Yeah.
And so back in the day in Baltimore, man, like we were already doing like every Friday, Saturday, sometimes Sunday was kind of like everybody had to work Monday, so they didn't want to get fucking in jail. So sometimes Thursday, Friday, Saturday, there would be like a lot of shit out there, and then the races that were like big money, they would be like called because they didn't want all these fucking goobers out there and shit. Yeah. So a lot of the races that the real big races went down with like a select few, and I never was in that crowd, but I knew that was happening because my buddy would always. He was in the crowd. We were in a group together, but he would always, I gotta run. But he couldn't. They were saying like, don't bring anybody.
Right. He was probably getting like them texts.
Yeah. No, yeah. Back then. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like, because I remember I had friends doing that same stuff, and they were like, I gotta go. But he told me what he was doing, but it's like, can't go with nobody. Or whatnot,
Let's just keep it because they're running for high stakes and big money. Then I mean, there was a few public ones, like like the freebie UFC joints where the big dudes would come out in the trailers and run, but it would be 45 to 50 minutes of this fucking like, all right, man, I'm gonna give you this much, or we're gonna do it. I'm like, dude, just fucking race, man.
Yeah.
So that right around the time drifting, I got into Initial D and everything. The drag shit, because my car was the fastest was like 13.7 or something like that, and it was just like it was drag racing was costing way too much to have a fast car.
Yeah.
And I got into drifting. I'm like, this shit's stupid, man. And so my guys would still go down there, and I was building my shit by myself. So that's where I transcend into like the by myself shit, because I would do all their wiring out. The same dudes I was telling you about, I would do all their wiring and all that stuff like that. And they were cool guys. It's just like, I was like, hey man, could you give me a hand trying to put this transmission in? Oh man, I gotta do this and that. So I learned how to do all that transmission shit by myself. Like I use a belt and balance the fucking tail on it, pick it up, bench press it on there. So I've done multiple Ks, like fucking bench pressing the shit up there by myself. Rotate it, go in, and I've done multiple.
That's a lot of time added on just by yourself.
Shit, I could do them in about 35 minutes, man. Like no shit.
Yeah,
I had it down to a science.
A lot of practice.
Yeah, man, I had it down to a science. It was so. I mean, all that shit, man. I'm the type of guy, man. I'm not gonna sit in the corner and fucking cry. I use that shit like those moments is why I can run a whole shot by myself. Like I was telling you yesterday, man. It's Quan was he would help out and everything. It's nice to definitely have a helper that is you're not random. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was having you on, because it's not like a random guy that, all right, man, all right, cool, you can go. Like it's not like you're actually somewhat invested into the business. We talked about offline. Nobody needs to know about that stuff. But the I don't have to, if I need help, it's like it's an invested helper, not somebody that's gonna come around and do whatever and shit like that. So it is what it is and that stuff, man. We're at 49 minutes roughly right now. I got to get to the junkyard and everything. So I didn't want to take it too long, man. I just want to talk a little bit, and it's cool that you're and what I'll do is probably because I was going to Quan, like say Quan's my guy. He's cool, but he kind of like he's not like he's just like a shy dude. Yeah. And so I can kind of see right now just by like the back and forth. We'll probably have some sessions and shit, just talk about some car stuff or whatever out there. Yeah. I mean, you got the motherfuckers storming the Capitol with Wild Bill shit on it.
That's ridiculous. Waking up to America on fire.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. That's one thing. Is like we talk a lot about car stuff, but like you've seen. I mean, I got this is like 80. This is gonna be 87 or 88. A lot losing count. That's just gonna be 86 in my last one. I got the notes right here. So it's my guy Lexus and everything. So you got the so it's gonna be 86 and everything. And yeah, man, we'll probably chop it up, do some stuff and everything. So man, again, let's welcome aboard. Yep. Everything to the shop and everything, and get all that stuff done. And just there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of cool stuff. But like I told you outside, man, a lot of I think because most guys are like, hey man, we're gonna be building bird houses and shit and doing all that stuff. Like, well, I want to do car stuff and like. And and most people, when I say that, they be like, nah, man, I thought we were going to like building like these cars. I'm like, yeah, you eventually. Yeah. Like, I mean, I'll be doing it and everything, but like what I need assistance with is like a little bit different. But you still, you're around the cars. You can still, like I said, you got to pull your car in and do what you got to do and stuff on there. Like I said, that all those cars on there is not like that. It's just, it was for the New Year's. I didn't want them outside for the snow. Yeah. So those are going to be all kicked out and everything. So it's the space. You've been in the shop before too. Yeah, with all that shit in there, all the cars in there. and everything. So space is there. It all, even if the the lifts are there. I'm actually looking at debating on getting a third one. I'm not sure. I don't really want to take the space away. But I'll see, man. But like overall, a lot of stuff to get done. A lot of I should take that back. I'll be utilizing your help more on my personal shit. That's my shit. Like that's I mean, we'll be working on that, doing stuff. But the customer stuff, like I told you before, is just I don't even want that to be a bother to you.
Right.
Because I know, like I say, some people see this. I'll they'll be out there for the announcement and stuff like that. But I'm not like, they'll see it. I'm not like making a grand fucking announcement. They'll eventually learn that you're helping out here, and then they'll, they'll want to like, hey, can I do this and do that, or like, nah, just email me, and I'll take care of it and everything like that. So like you're just like pretty much with me. Everybody else just if they got questions, hit me up.
Yep.
That way it's not bothering you, it's not fucking up your day, or people trying to say you did this or you did because it just don't got to do it, man.
Right.
But cool, man. So everybody out there, this is going to be again episode 86 with Anthony here. Everything. So it's like again, this will be the first of many, like I just said, and I just want to get one in there for the new year because this is the 13th today, I think, or the 12th. Today is the 12th.
Yeah, 12th.
Yeah, so 13th tomorrow. I got vehicle inspections for the government, shipping and all that stuff like that. And yeah, man, it's a lot of stuff going down, a lot of stuff like brewing behind the scenes that I'm waiting, because a lot of shit happened. Like for example, this company Super Bright or whatever cleaning stuff hit me up on YouTube, but they will hit me up by YouTube, want me to promote their shit. And I was like, well, how much you paying? And I told you that story, right?
Nah.
I was like, how much you paying, right? To do like the advertising. He's like, oh no, we're just gonna send you some stuff and maybe a percentage off, and then like it turned into, and maybe they're watching and I'm dogging them, but they're probably not. But it's like they was like, oh, we thought you were in the States. Like, well, it says on my thing, America living in Japan. So
right.
like you didn't think I was in the States, and I said Japan a bunch, and so they thought they were gonna just get like a free, like, hey man, Super Bright, go check
nah, check it out. We got
go check it out, do all this stuff and whatever, and like for 15% off. Like fuck that. Like nah, dude. I've done that. Yeah, I've done that shit. I've sold my soul for 15% off, and then at the end of the day, none of those fucking companies care about you. No contracts.
Right. Yeah.
Because the minute you ask for a contract or anything like, so that's what I put. I was like, send me a contract. As soon as I see all that shit, and he was like, you're not the one.
We'll
get
back to you.
Dude, like that's what he said. He was like,
yeah,
that's what he said. And then he was like, well, maybe in 6 months. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Like,
yeah, just
come back with a contract, and also how much you're gonna pay me per month for per episode, because I'm not doing this for 50% off. Fuck that.
Right, you're trying to get that.
Nah, man.
Like, nah,
I've already done that. Even with
free ads, ain't no free ads.
Nah. Even with the I don't know if you noticed on my Instagram. You notice I'll have the boxes there. But you notice I don't ever tag Tomei or any of that stuff.
Yep.
Because it's like, nah.
Yeah, like why?
They had to get enough of that free shit from people. Just they saved up the money and they got Tomei, so they're like, Tomei this, Tomei USA. Like, I tag only the partners and guys who I have a relationship with. Other than that, sorry Nismo, but there's no free rides. There's no, unless you want to work with me.
They already got a brand established anyway.
Yeah. Well, the reason why is because I've already contacted all those guys. I contacted HKS, contacted all those guys, and he's like, no, we good, straight up. We don't. We got Taniguchi, Arito, Tsuchiya. We don't need you. And they said it nicely, but I'm like, all right, cool. So
as long as you're cordial,
you know what I mean, when shit really, the shit is good, but it's to where I know it's going to be, and with all stuff I got brewing in the background. Again, 5 years in, internationally, export. I got my hands everywhere. I could do pretty much anything that's legal. But there's a lot more coming that people don't even know about. And but I just kind of like roll it out as, because even with the cappuccino, I was going to keep that off the. I wasn't going to post that.
Yeah.
Then I was like, fuck, man. Like, what if somebody else? Because people start coming to the shop and seeing it.
They see it.
And people talk, and I don't, I'm like, don't take pictures and shit. But I was like, man, somebody's gonna find out about this shit. So I released it, man, and that shit got shared like 400 times, and then it just went away. And then I got, so it's like, I got all the parts there now to do everything I need to do, except for the manifold stuff. But it's that one. It's gonna get in the magazine, but I can't take away time from customers right now.
Right.
Like that's what I'm saying. So once I get to that point where I got good money, then all my fucking cars will run. Like I will not be that mechanic.
Yeah, be like, oh,
none of my shit runs because they ain't running like 5-6 years. A lot of my cars, like that car, S13. The last time,
yeah.
Well, that picture that day, the next day at MSP, actually after that picture, I actually blew number 6. It was the stock ring land just let go at MSP. It lasted the whole event. And at MSP, it blew it, and that's actually sitting on the stand inside. So that car drove, and then the next day, and then it hasn't been. It's been as you see it for like 5.5 years. Like so it happens. I mean, but at the same time, that money, all that time and everything was going towards the business. It was very hard not to take money and put it into my stuff. Also, I owe people money. They know who they are. I can't in good conscience be like, yeah, I got all this shit, and you owe people. Like that's not the business. You owe money. Business you're gonna owe. There's no way around it. If you don't owe money to any company, debt, whatever, you're not expanding. So if you're just doing the same shit, like you gotta eventually you gotta take that loan for 55.
Take loans, expand.
Yeah, and then you pay that money back, and then you just get it just keeps going up and up. Case in point, why the fuck's America owe zillions of dollars? Like
always, and it
just
keeps
that's
going
a,
up.
that's
like,
the thing,
bro,
man. It's you can't be scared of it out there, guys. If you want to do anything, if you want to get that car or get that transmission or whatever, if not saying do it irresponsibly, because I paid $2,200, $22K in debt right after the military. I'm like, man, I gotta. If I didn't pay that off at that time, that would have fucked me from this.
Yeah, that would have kept you from doing it.
Because I mean, I would have still been trying to split that money. So I paid all that shit off, and I was debt free for like about a year, and then right into this, and then it's like fuck this. So it's just like one of those things where
gotta be smart about it.
Yeah.
I'm paying off all. For the most part, I'm paying off all my debt stuff too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's down a lot. So
yeah.
I mean, that's why I was able to.
Well, I need
spend what I did fixing my RX-7 so I can pass the JCI.
I need to get my credit shit. I owe no credit, but at the same time I paid all that stuff off, but I didn't start anything new. So there's some cool shit Navy Federal has where Navy Federal lets you like take a loan on your own money. So you give them like you give them $3,000, they give you a fucking loan for $3,000. So it's your money.
Okay,
they loan your money to you, and then you pay it
like
back.
Credit, yeah. So they can establish.
Right. Yeah. So right now I'm like honestly, I mean, there's no shame. I'm like at a 590 some shit, which is I think under 6 is like poor or whatever. So it's starting to come up. It says 000.
That's like loans and stuff. I mean, I'm pretty sure mine's all jacked up too.
Yeah.
Like
so the credit card shit, I just got in the stocks recently, and that's something I'm looking at is pretty. I wish I would have did it a while ago, when Tesla was cheaper and all that stuff like that. But the guys that are looking to do stuff, man, I kind of wrap up on this, man, because to keep it real out there, I've done a lot of shit, got a lot of stuff, a lot of cool stuff brewing, a lot of stuff done, but I got real problems just like you guys out there. So don't think because you see Instagram, and we just talked about it offline, you see Instagram, you see all that thing, and everything looks glitz and glamour. A lot of people who fake don't show and I'm not trying to be a fucking crybaby. I'm not going to show you, because you don't need to know that all the stuff that happens, which is not much, but life is drama. Just waking up every day is drama. It doesn't, even if you do everything properly, you're going to have dickhead people you got to deal with. Not saying be fake out there, but don't put all your shit out there, but don't be acting like you ain't got no fucking problems, man, because when you do that, then everybody out there is like, oh, you don't got problems, so let me get $5,000, or let me get this and let me get that. I'm like, nah, son. It ain't like I gotta pay bill, I gotta pay rent, I gotta pay rent.
Though, man. Everyone wants handouts nowadays.
Yeah, I'm like, man, just get your shit done and then be smart. Like, if you want to get that fucking turbo kit or whatever, don't spend $680 on the fucking OnlyFans, because that shit's a meme, but it's real. There's people out there spending $6,000 giving their fucking money away to some chick to show her titty when you can go to Pornhub for free and see it for free. Yeah,
that shit make no sense.
On multiple sites, but it's just something about the girl is live or wherever the fuck, man.
All kinds of, I see popping in my feeds, man.
Yeah.
Our fans only like making like 15,000.
Yeah, dude, like killing it.
What is going on?
Killing it, and it's like I'm over here, fucking 3 o'clock in the morning, busting my ass doing all that stuff, and I ain't complaining, man. I'm good at what I'm good, but I could be better. And they're like just showing their titties and like getting like millions of dollars. I'm like, fuck, man.
Like what? What's on? Sense, bro.
I'm doing it wrong, man. But it is short. That's short money. They can't do that forever. Hopefully they take that money they got and invest it into something, because I'm doing like micro investments, and it's like I gotta do this or sell that to. I mean, no shit. The shirts I got, that was like $1,200 for 50 shirts or whatever, and that it seems small, but I mean that's not in the grand scheme of all the shit you got to pay. The jackets like I put up and everything, like that's like two almost $3,000 for like all the stuff I want to get and the quality I want. And then you don't sell those immediately.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's like it's a slow return. So like I just sold 2, and it's like, all right, I got $40 back. But what about the other rest in the box and everything? So there's a lot of shit that people don't know, and that's why I kind of get aggravated when guys say, hey man, you think about doing this? Like, dude, I've thought about everything that you could possibly think about. Trust me. Like, if I'm here to this point, trust me, I thought about getting a plow. Like, yeah. I've done that. Write me a check for
looked at how much it cost.
Write me a check for $3,500, $35K. Sorry about that, $35K, and I'll get me a decent one. Anything less than 25, you got some shit you got to work on. That becomes a liability. So I do what I got to do to get by. I got people and everything. So yeah, it is what it is out there, guys. Like, I mean, that's one thing about this shit, man. I said 40 minutes is already an hour.
It's all good.
So we'll definitely chop it up more. Or some other shit. I'll probably have some notes in here, topics to talk about. That way I got somebody in here, because I kind of want to do that before. But again, I don't want to have like random Joes in here who kind of like, oh yeah, I did your podcast, man. So could you do this clutch jaw for $300? Like, nah, not at all. So, but cool, man. All right, everybody out there, guys. Again, it's gonna be Anthony. You'll see him a lot more. He's here to 2024. 24?
24.
Oh shit! Fuck! I thought you said 22.
Nope. No. That's when I'm gonna start doing RX-7 stuff.
Okay.
Motor work 22.
Okay, got you. Yeah. So, yeah, man. So I got Quan left out there, man. Again, Quan still's in the mix and everything. He's still doing stuff behind the scenes. So he's gone, but he's still like virtually the social media and all that shit using to my advantage. So we talk and everything. But again, man, I got he'll be here for a good long time. So you'll see him a lot more, man. YouTube stuff, YouTube videos, things like that too. So again, guys, just be sure to send your questions if you have them. Download at pinkwithstyle.com. If you're watching out there, a new viewer, just make sure you like, subscribe, and click the fucking bell with all that stuff like that. So you can be, because YouTube is doing some scandalous shit. I'm on YouTube downing them, but hey, man, everybody does it. I'm not going to go in there and shoot up the building like that chick did, and she gets no views now. So she's dead, and the Anarch channel is canceled. So but yeah, man, YouTube I'm on there at 6,100. I just checked it today. I'm like 6,171 subscribers, which is not, it's nothing. And they changed it where like if you're under 100K, you don't, you buried. So, I mean, the quality, thank you guys there who say the content is like good and everything. The quality and stuff like that is good. So that's all I can hope for and do. And then eventually somebody will see it and things will kind of blow up from there. But with that, man, just like the business stuff, this is episode podcast 86. I only average about 100 some views on it, but I'm not going to stop because go cry in the corner because I'm not getting 1,000. I'm not getting Joe Rogan views. Joe Rogan's getting started fucking years ago. If we look back at the first Joe Rogan podcast, people didn't go back. They only got like 3,000, 5,000 views because nobody's going to go all the way back and watch all that stuff. So the people were just kind of on the now shit. So he could have stopped, at episode 300. And he would never interview, Kanye West and all those people we had on there and all that stuff like that. So anybody looking at the Start Podcast, start anything, just fucking get started. I just got started in stocks 2 weeks ago. And, I'm already like seeing like little small numbers until I can get that spare money to dump into bigger stocks. I'm not really trying to do the penny stuff. I ain't got time for that. That's a long thing. So I'm going to look at dumping bigger money in there. Bigger money, bigger return. That's just with the car stuff. You got to put bigger money into the car, you get a better results. You can't have cheap, fast, reliable all at once. It doesn't. You got to pick one. It doesn't work that way. We'll pick two. I don't know if you can have cheap and fast, but you can't. It won't be reliable.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So you got to pick. I think you pick two.
Car rebuilding all the time.
Yeah. So I mean, you got to do that, man. So anyway, guys, I want to keep talking everything. Just go ahead and send the likes. Send the emails podcast at pinkwithstyle.com. Any guests. If you want to be a guest on the podcast, I'm open to anybody out there. If you want to be a guest, you got some cool shit to talk about, you got a personality and stuff like that, just send me a little bit about you, what you want to talk about. We could definitely get it done, man. And spread the wealth and grow those connections. I said before, some of these YouTubers, man, they got the millions and the thousands of subscribers, and they want to keep everybody. Like if you blend the everybody doesn't know everybody, so you're got 1,000 subscribers or whatever. That's 1,000 people that know you, but another group of people don't know you. So just work on those contacts, work on those connections and everything. I wouldn't be here. Honestly, I work hard, but at the same time, I'm connected to a lot of people who make things happen. I couldn't do everything by myself. I couldn't, do exporting and stuff like that by myself. So I do work hard, but you do need good people in your corner and make it happen. Be positive. Fuck all the bullshit out there. Get ready for COVID round 2 and everything out there. So just do what you got to do, man. Travel as far as you can travel within restrictions and be smart. So it's going to be down, sign out. Anthony from South Japan. See you guys later.
Later.